beauty in the Paradise Islands of Hawaii. We're on Oahu at Sunset Beach to see the finest women surfers in the world compete. Our 4 semifinalists are entering the water right now. The top 2 will make it into the finals. Hello, everybody. I'm Bruce Jenner, and we're here for the Sun-Kissed World Cup of Surfing for Women. Our first semifinal heat has a long paddle out, and we have some big names for you in this heat. Kim Merrick, just off a big win in Japan. Margot Oberg has won it all in the sport of surfing, now the resident surfer at Kiahona Plantation in Kauai. Lynn Boyer won this event in '79 and '82 and is determined to come back again. Debbie Beacham, 1982 Women's World Champion. Now, to give you an idea what these surfers are going to be going through, this is one of Debbie Beacham's preliminary rides, and she put it in proper perspective.
We travel different parts of the world, Australia, Japan, California, but to come here and deal with fear, power, and unpredictability is really the true test of the champion.
The heat is about to begin, Bruce, and a panel of international judges will score the women on the length of the ride, the maneuvers, staying in the critical part of the wave, and the speed they attain.
Margot Oberg, look at the speed she's going to get off this wave.
Margot falls down the face of the wave to get up her momentum, and she has to race across this wall. You can see she's just staying in front of the breaking section of the wave, cutting back there.
Margot Oberg scoring some points on this ride as she kicks out. And the crowd continues to settle in for a great day of surfing here at Sunset Beach. As we look out through the surf line, seeing who's going to catch that next wave, right there in the corner of your screen, it's Debbie Beacham.
She has an inside wave, Bruce, and it's hitting the reef like a freight train. She's going to have to go really fast to make this section. Oh, she does it. She goes down.
Oh, tons of water just landed right on top of her. I hope she's okay. I don't know how they can handle that, Fred, but let's look at this replay.
Well, right here, Bruce, you can see her mistake. She miscalculated the speed of this wave. She's stalling or biding her time here. When she goes to turn to race across the face of the wave, it's already lining up. She's not going to make it.
You can see her looking right there. As she knows she's in trouble, she tries to duck out. Oh, all that water right down on top of her. Oh, but there she is. She seems to be fine. She's smiling as our water camera picked her up. And here is Margot Oberg.
Bruce, she has a wave that's not going to line up, so she's going to have to go for the maneuvers. And watch her board. It's constantly moving. She's back and forth, showing the judges that she has control.
Margot Oberg has been surfing these waves for years, and no matter what size the wave is, she knows exactly what to do with it. And talk about wave selection, look at Lynn Boyer's wave.
Remember, Bruce, the judges are looking for the largest wave, and that's exactly what Lynn has here. She has a big wave, and she's right in, once again, that critical section, under the curling part of the wave, racing across the face of it. She does it all on this wave, Bruce. Whoops, and she trips there at the end.
But a nice ride. Randy Rarick up on the beach with our next set of semifinalists. Jody Cooper from Western Australia. Frida Zamba from Flagler Beach, Florida. Kathy Buford from right around the island here in Makaha. Debbie Wayman from Honolulu. And there's not much time left in this first semifinal, but the surf continues to pound here at Sunset.
We have a beautiful set of waves here, Bruce.
Stroking for the wave, it's Lynn Boyer.
She's stalling or fading into the wave, waiting for it to line up. She pulls into a turn to get high, to get some speed, and the wave's going to beat her. She has to throw it out.
Oh, covered with water, but on the wave right behind her is Margot Oberg with a great wave.
She's flying across that wave, Bruce, and we talked about speed today. She's going in excess of 30 miles an hour as she races across the inside section of the Sunset Beach wave. That speed and control, Bruce, is probably going to win this heat for her.
And the length of ride, she's bringing it all the way into the beach as she puts her hands up in the air. She knows that's a good one. There's not much time left in this competition. Let's see who's going to get the last wave. It's Debbie Beacham stroking hard, but pulls out. There's the horn, and the red flag goes up. That's the end of the first semifinal heat. Remember, the top 2 will make it into the final. The second semifinal heat enters the water, and the surf continues to hold here at Sunset. the most famous surfing area in the world, the North Shore of Oahu. And Fred Hemmings, it must be fun living over here and promoting these events.
Bruce, Hawaii's a special place, and sometimes it's a hard place to do business.
Not a bad way to spend an afternoon. The conditions are holding here at Sunset as the second semifinal is already in progress. The two favorites from that first semifinal, Lynn Boyer and Margot Oberg, will advance to the finals. It looks beautiful, but boy, it is treacherous out there as Jody Cooper catches a wave.
Bruce, she's a petite athlete. She's about 5 feet tall and weighs 100 pounds, and there's a lot of waves that she's competing against here. Smart move there. She gets out before it caves in on her. It takes a lot of nerve to paddle out and surf like this. Among the women, Margot Oberg has the most experience. Frida Zampa from Florida, she's a goofy footer dropping in on this wave. That means she surfs with her back to the wave, but also Frida is the first woman from the East Coast to make it on the international circuit. She's working the inside of this wave, not too big of a wave, Bruce, and kind of fizzles out on her.
Today, Fred, we have these shifting peaks. What does that mean for the competitors?
Well, as these waves come out of the North Pacific, they don't always break in the same spot. The lineup or the takeoff places shifts around the face of the ocean. And these women constantly have to be on the paddle to seek out the best position to be in to take the best wave.
That means these girls are working hard out there, and there's not much time left in the competition as Wally EIA is ready to put that red flag up. But no, Jody Cooper looks like is going to get the last wave, and it's going to count because the horn has not sounded. This ride will count for Jody Cooper.
This appears to have been a real close heat, and this wave will mean a lot to Jody Cooper. She has a lot of speed as she races across the face of the wave. Oh, under a nice section of white water. Under control, and she kicks out. Strong ride for Jody.
That's going to be a tough heat to call, with the exception maybe of Jody Cooper as she comes in. She had a great last ride. You know, I have a lot of respect for all these women who go out there in that raging sea and perform. They're obviously in very good shape and have a tremendous amount of confidence in themselves. And they've got my respect. Our four finalists on the beach right now getting their instruction as they start to move down towards the raging surf here at Sunset. Has been holding up all day long. First out is Jody Cooper. She's in the blue. Right behind her, Lynn Boyer. She's in lavender. In the black, it's going to be Kathy Buford. And in pink, Margot Oberg. Look at the size of these waves. They are tremendous. Just paddling out of them has to be awfully tough, let alone having to perform. It's got to be scary. Lynn Boyer, Margot Oberg paddling out. And they have so much experience in these big waves. Also, Kathy Buford is from Hawaii. She has a lot of experience here as the horn sounds. But the question mark is Jody Cooper from Australia, and she has the first wave.
She's young, she's aggressive, and she's just smoking across the face of this wave, trying to outrace this whitewater here. She's stuck in the whitewater, but she chooses to stay in it. She's staying on her feet.
Showing the judges that she has total control over this wave. A great ride by Jody Cooper from Australia. She's got to be pleased. And a big wave, and look who's on it. It's Margot Oberg.
Well, the finesse of a veteran. Look at Margot. She dropped in, totally under control. Bottom turn, pulls up into a section, working across the face of the wave, constantly keeping the board moving. Margot Oberg with the experience of a champion.
Margot Oberg, one of the two great names in surfing, and the other one is Lynn Boyer, and she's right behind her on another big wave.
She had a tough drop in, but managed to keep control of her board. Now she's working across the face of the wave, always changing the angle of attack. Back and forth, off the rail, off the top, driving her board up the face of the wave there, cutting back, constantly moving.
That's skill, and that's what the judges are looking for. She got some good points on that wave. Nice ride for Lynn Boyer.
On the wave behind, Kathy Buford, and these women are attacking the waves. They're not just riding them. She's going to the top of the wave for a cutback. Oh, and she spins out.
Wipe out. Boy, that's going to hurt her score. These are the biggest waves that the women have ever competed in here at the World Cup. And the surf continues to pound at Sunset. Look at it.
Big set on the outside. Late takeoff. Margot Oberg in the whitewater literally pushes her into that wave. She always has the ability to be in the right place at the right time and catch the wave that's going to score the most points, but this one's closing out on her. Whitewater comes down under no place to go. She's just going to get out of it.
Broking for the wave, it's Jody Cooper, the young Australian.
In 1983, Jody was voted the Rookie of the Year of the Women's International Circuit. I have to say, because she's so aggressive, she's not the least bit intimidated by these waves. She really attacks them. Here she's fading to the inside, zigzagging back and forth, cutting back into the white water. She attacks the waves and gets the most out of them.
The crowd here at Sunset really enjoying the high level of surfing that they're seeing here today.
Lynn Boyer drops in on a big wave. Off the bottom of the wave with a beautiful turn, cuts off the top, back near the white water. The wave's lining up, and she pulls herself up into a tight section right under the white water.
She knows what the judges want to see. Kathy Buford got a nice wave. Look at that wall. Look at the way it's forming. She's in the critical section. She's under it. She's got herself a tube. She raises her hand. She knows she had a good one.
The tube ride, everybody loves it. It's like the home run, Bruce. She drops into the wave. She sees it lining up in front of her. She pulls herself up into the face of the wave. It pitches out over her head, and she's in a canopy of water right in that tube. She loves it. The crowd loves it. It is a home run.
A high-scoring ride for Kathy Buford, but it takes more than just one ride to win this competition, and there's not that much time left.
Margot Holberg, she knows there's not much time left, so she takes the next available wave. Let's see what she can do with it. Racing across the face of it, oh, it just stalls out on her.
There's the horn. That's the end of the finals for the World Cup of Surfing for Women. All these women are champions in my book. Let me tell you, they have had a tremendous competition through very treacherous surf, and they're all winners. But the judges have come up with a final tally. And our champion this year is going to be Lynn Boyer. She won this event in 1979 and then 1982 and came back this year to pull it off for her third time. The first semifinal heat, 4 competitors. The top 2 will make it into the finals. There's Michael Ho, the defending champion, also in this heat. Will be 4 times world champion Mark Richards from Australia, Martin Connor from South Africa, and Mark Akalubo from Australia. And here he is, 4 times world champion Mark Richards.
28 years old, Bruce, and to many of the young up-and-coming surfers, he's already a veteran and definitely a legend in competitive surfing. And you can see why his smooth, fluid style. He works the wave in almost a graceful, dancing manner. Up and down the face of it. There's his trademark bottom turn. Up on top of the wave, he stalls. Very difficult to do. It just slides under that section of white water, as he's been doing for years.
Well, Fred, that's what the judges are looking for, that length of ride and being able to perform as many maneuvers on that wave as you possibly can. Also, selection of the largest wave, the amount of speed that you can get on the wave, and, of course, staying in that critical section. That's what the judges will be looking for today.
Michael Ho, he is up and riding. He's committed to this wave, but it's not developing on the outside. He's stalling, fading into the face of the wave, and here he is on the inside. It's starting to light up now. That section of white water comes over him. He's able to keep control of his board under that white water, working from rail to rail, keeping the board moving all the time. Once again, the judges are looking for the length of the ride, but also the amount of distance he covers. His maneuvers, and Michael Ho certainly maneuvering on this wave.
He has come prepared to defend his title here at the World Cup. And it is greatly appreciated by the crowd that's on hand here today. The crowd also appreciates some of the local celebrities, like Lord Blears, who has been in surfing as long as surfing has been around. And also my wife, Linda, Jack Gill, big-time stuntman in town, and this lady. We know her from Dallas, Morgan Brittany.
Martin Parter dropping in. He's all the way from South Africa, and at 19 years old, you'd think he's a newcomer to professional surfing. He started surfing in the pro division when he was 15 years old in South Africa. Now he's one of the young coming stars of the sport.
He's been waiting on this wave for it to form, and it's finally hit the inside reef, and here it goes. What a save!
That's called a layback cutback. He actually laid back off the top of the wave, roller coasters down the face, extremely difficult maneuvers. Those will score some points. Watch this again, Bruce. He goes to the top of the wave and literally throws his body back into the wave, grabs it with his arm, and pulls himself back down the face of it. Layback cutback, a bottom turn again, up to the top, ricochets off the white water and comes down with the brake. That's some kind of surfing.
Mark Arlupo from Australia, hesitating, waiting, getting right in that critical section, right in front of the white water now. Now moving up, getting into a little bit of a tube.
Touchdown!
And down he goes. The second semifinal heat is on the beach. Wes Lane from Virginia, Hans Hedemann from Hawaii, Dane Kealoha from Hawaii, and Derek Ho, Michael Ho's brother.
Dropping into this wave on the outside, Michael Ho, he's got a good side wind, a mountain of white water behind him. Pulling up tight, the wave is racing to the inside section. Michael Ho cutting off the top of the wave, back to the white water, ricocheting off it, bouncing to the inside, cutting back. We talk about the critical section of the wave, and he is a master of staying in it.
A great ride by Michael Ho, but Fred, there's so much water moving out there. How does anybody find out where they're at? Mark Richards waiting on the outside for this wave to form. The great Australian, and here it comes to the inside reef. It seems to be building, Fred.
It's a China wall lining up in front of him. He's racing across the face of it, cutting off the top. Gaining speed to make it all. He's going to have to blast through a section of white water there. He had enough speed to get through that initial blast of the white water, and he makes it to the end of the wave.
Michael Ho has been eating up this competition, and again, he's got another nice wave. Great wave selection.
He has to be moving about 35 miles an hour as he races across the face of this wave. And remember, Bruce, he has no bindings or stirrups to hold him on the board. The only thing that's keeping him on that board is his own skill. It's all leverage, timing. Watch him. Cutting back, always keeping the board moving. He never lets it stall or slow down. He keeps his momentum up.
And there's the horn ending the first semifinal heat. Top two will go into the finals, and I think Michael Ho is a shoo-in.
I'd have to agree with you on that.
We'll be back with the second semifinal heat right after this. It's Sunset Beach, the sun-kissed World Cup of Surfing for men. The second semifinal heat is ready. In white, Wes Lane from Virginia. In blue, Derek Ho. In green, Hans Hedemann. Picking up his board, Dane Kealoha. He has won this event before, and in the preliminaries, he had a great ride. Let's look back.
Bruce, he pulled himself out of a giant section of white water, and look at him look up at the lip of the wave, and he tucks himself in an absolutely exquisite tube. He comes out, the victory sign, that's a winner.
Look at this surf. It continues to build.
The winner of the first semifinal heat, Michael Ho, will be going to the finals along with Mark Richards. Wes Lane dropping in on a big wave on the outside. He won an event in 3-foot surf in 1983 in Atlantic City, New Jersey. What a contrast.
He's taller than most of the other surfers too, Fred, isn't he?
At over 6 feet, he is one of the bigger men in professional surfing, which is an asset here today. But when you're in the small surf, it's a liability.
Oh, what a nice cut back there.
Look at this inside section. Remember the wave stalled out on him, and he got on the inside here. Well, the wave caved in on him, and down he goes.
There's a whitewater takeoff by Dane Kealoha.
He's committed to this wave. It's not lining up in front of him. You can see he's actually looking down the face of the wave. He's pumping, he's stalling, he's waiting for something to happen. The wave is fading to the inside. He's zigzagging, hoping something will happen. Oh, he kicks out.
Or else he would have gotten crushed. I think he did the right thing. Hans Hedemann.
Hans has traveled around the world for 5 years in a row now as one of the top-rated Hawaiian surfers, though he's never won a major Hawaiian event.
Now that wave is starting to form on the inside. He's staying right in that critical section. Up the wave. Cuts back down. Nice cutback. Here comes that wave.
Oh, look at that, Bruce. He tucks in a tight section. Not quite in the tube, but it was a nice, solid wave for Hans Hedemann. You know, Bruce, ever since Mark Richards introduced a tri-fin surfboard into competition about 5 years ago, technology in surfboard design has not changed that much. This year, Australian Shane Horan has introduced a fin very similar to that America's Cup keel that the Australians use.
Well, it didn't get him into the finals, but maybe there's a future for it. We know there's a future for this man, Wes Lane from Virginia.
You know, Bruce, Wes was in the finals last year here in Hawaii. He seems to excel in his larger serve. And you can see he's working the inside of this wave, waiting for it to line up.
And he's in the tube.
Oh, what a tube. Nice little ride. He puts his hand up. He knows that scored a few points.
Now, here's a point where it wasn't the biggest wave, but he certainly happened to be in the right spot, Fred.
Yes, a good ride is a combination of many factors. Though this wave does not have size, he manages to execute one of the great maneuvers in surfing, and that's called a tube ride. He stalls, he pulls himself up tight, tucks under a section of water, right under a veil of breaking water.
And he put that fist up. He's psyched up. Wes Lane with a couple of good rides could be in the finals.
Tube rides like that are what the judges are looking for, Bruce, and I'd say you're right. He is going to be in the final.
Not much time left in his second semifinal heat. Derek Ho up on the wave.
Derek's brother Michael's been dominating the Hawaiian pro scene for years now, and it looks like Derek's waiting in the wings to take his place. Hurries, he cuts back into the white water under this section. It's a curious maneuver.
Now, Derek is a goofy footer, and Michael isn't. But besides that, is there any similarities between the two?
Well, Derek's a carbon copy of his brother. He already, in 2 years of professional surfing, has won the Duke title. He's a former amateur champion, as Michael was, and he's just following his brother's footsteps.
Hans Hedemann.
He sneaks into an inside wave here, waiting for it to build up. Notice that they have to keep these boards moving all the time. If they slow down too much, they'll literally sink or stall.
There's the horn. Now that ends the second semifinal heat. The top two will make it into the finals. Now, by my unofficial tally, Hans Hedemann right there as he comes out of the water has a good chance of making it in the finals along with Wes Lane.